Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence of Sound, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thank you so much for checking out the series. As always, hit that subscribe button if you dig what you're seeing right here. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. I am so excited today to be talking with Connick Jr., who's back with a brand new record called Alone With My Faith. Hi, sir.
How you doing?
I'm great. It's good to talk to you. Congratulations on this new record. You've made your downtime worthwhile, it looks like.
Well, I think we all had downtime, and all of us felt the same thing after the first week or so. Like, what do we do? Because for those of us fortunate enough to have had the opportunity to stay at home, there was a lot of time that was previously going to be filled with something else. So, I decided, among other things, to record some songs that felt not only appropriate for the time, but songs that I actually needed to record. Like these songs, some of which are Christian gospel songs, but other ones are songs that I wrote. They just gave me a sense of comfort because, as we all know, I mean, for months and months and months, and even now to a certain degree, we really don't know what's going on. There's no finite end to this. We've all had friends and family members that have either gotten sick or died as a result of this. So it's been kind of a tragic shared experience. So I just wanted to not only for myself, but for those people interested, make some music that maybe would give them some comfort.
Yeah. And I love even the way the title kind of plays around. I mean, obviously we know what alone means, in the quarantining sense, but that whole statement, alone with my faith, is a very powerful statement. I mean, when you're thinking about, the moment of prayer, like, what does faith mean in this setting for you?
Well, to me, it's like if you get a birthday present and let's say it's a blender, and it stays in the box, and you want to make a cake and you're too lazy to take the blender out of the box, so you kind of do everything by hand, and you don't really take advantage of that gift. I think faith is a gift that was given to us by God to compel us to communicate with him, to help us feel connected. And if you are aware that it's there, and if you choose to take advantage of it, it can be a very powerful thing. It can also be something that is questionable, and anything in between. So when I was singing about being alone with my faith, sometimes that was a great thing, because even in the throes of uncertainty, I still felt a connection with God and a strong faith. And at the same time, sometimes I felt lost, depressed, uncertain. I questioned my faith. Like, I felt like the connection had been broken sometimes. And it was this kind of living being thing, this whole idea of faith. So, we were quarantined, we were alone, but I was really never alone because I had this faith with me. And so that's kind of what that song is about and what the album's about.
You get a lot of blenders for presents?
I must have, if that was the reference I made.
There, in that title track, though, I feel like maybe one of the most important lines on the record, as far as on your original tracks here, and it's the line, "I know who I am." You repeat that and everything. I feel like that's an important line. I don't know. I'll let you talk about that. What does that say in this setting right here? Because again, there's a lot of contemplation going on.
There is, and it's funny how, for me, and I'm sure you and a lot of other people feel this way too, we've had time to think about our lives in ways that we haven't really before. And, do I know who I am in this context? Am I a person of faith that can call upon that faith? And I know that much about who I am, and I know where I stand. I know what I believe. I may not always get there. I may fail sometimes in my personal quest to dot, 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 be more patient, more loving, more understanding, more faithful. But I know who I am. And I take a great deal of comfort in that, and I was able to kind of look at that in ways that I couldn't really do before.
Yeah, that's that play on words again, that faith in yourself at the same time.
Yeah,
It's, I think you've mentioned maybe in a press release the spectrum of what faith means. So
yeah, it means a lot. I mean, some people may not have the issues of questioning their faith. Like I think about my dad, man, this guy, his faith is so strong. I mean, it is strong. I mean, he handles everything with such grace and dignity, and he just knows what he believes. And I think I'm going to get there. And we talk about the idea of our having free will and the ability to question things. And he supports that. He calls me Thomas sometimes. He goes, "How's my doubting Thomas doing?" And I like that because I know he was there too at one point. So yeah, it's faith is complex, something to learn and develop, that's for sure.
You do tackle some old classics, some old chestnuts here. Amazing Grace, though, for something as iconic as that song, did you have anything specific that you wanted to bring to it? I mean, how do you approach something like that?
I look at the lyrics and I think about them. Amazing Grace, the first two words in the song. What does amazing mean? It's just something pretty special. What is grace? Well, then I start thinking about my definition of grace, the dictionary definition of grace, other people's definition of grace, and it's an amazing thing. And then I start thinking about how sweet the sound. Well, is it being personified by a sound, or is it the sound of the term amazing grace? What's so sweet, and I think about that. And you study, that saved a wretch like me. Well, did it save me? Am I saved? Am I a wretch? Of course I'm a wretch. And of course it saved me. I once was lost. What does that mean? And I think about it, and I spend a lot of time, I'm driving or walking or exercising or whatever, or thoughts will pop into my mind. And when I really feel like I'm starting to understand it, I'll start playing something that feels right at the time. And then the arrangement will build upon that. And that particular song is a little bit all over the place. It starts with just me and the piano, then the kind of rhythm comes in and one time signature, and then it goes to another time signature, and background vocals come in, and then a New Orleans section comes in. And as it was finished, as opposed to thinking this is all over the place, my rationalization is that so am I. So is everything that I am. And somehow it may not work for you because you don't know that context. But for me, it's like, that's Harry. That's take it or leave it. It's not perfect. It's flawed and it's a little rambunctious. And that's how I do it for all of those songs. I think about what they mean, and then I try to make music that presents a good foundation for those lyrics.
Yeah, and some of my favorite moments on this record is really when those worlds collide, and I talk about the jazz world and the gospel world, Christian world, that old rugged cross, like the intro of that. Like jazz and faith music have a long history together, but I feel like you're taking that to a different kind of level. What's going on musically on that one?
Let me just say thank you, because that introduction means so much to me. And the fact that you noticed it really means a lot to me. I truly mean that, and here's why. I was trying to think. How much time do we have? Do I have time to tell you a quick story?
Sure, I'm good.
We have time. So long story short, I recorded Little Drummer Boy on a Christmas album years ago. And I wanted somebody who was an expert in Middle Eastern drumming to play this droning drum underneath. And he came in and he was an expert. I mean, he could tell you, different regions of different areas. And I said, what would you play if you were a boy presenting a gift to a king? A. B, what would you do if you were me as a boy? So I don't want some expert, perfect execution. I want it to be simple and from the perspective of a young boy presenting a gift to a king. So cut to now. Let's say me and you are walking through the desert. I don't know what your beliefs are. You don't really know a lot about me, but we're both walking and we see in the distance a cross, a real cross used for crucifixion. We're 2,000 years ago, by the way. And we get closer and we get closer. And whether you believe in Christ as the Son of God or not, you know that this man died on this cross. You know it was a method of torture, a horrific method of torture that was commonplace back then. And what kind of kick in the gut would that be? It would be like walking into an execution chamber or seeing an electric chair or something like that feeling. And when you put that in a religious context, I have some chimes at home, like some orchestral chimes. And I just started beating this chime with like I don't know, I might have a shoe or something. I didn't even have a mallet, but I was just going ding, king. And then I started adding some synthesizers and some melodies that didn't have anything to do with Old Rugged Cross, but they had to do with what would I feel if I went, oh my gosh, what am I looking at right now? And I didn't want to sing it. I just wanted to. And so the introduction stopped and I played it. I went right to a traditional church setting, organ and piano. And then I felt ready to sing it. And when I sang it, it took me a few tries to get through because I was crying. I was saying like, I will cling to this Old Rugged Cross and exchange it someday for a crown. Like, man, like it just hit me. And so that's how that happened. I'm not trying to make a hit. I'm just trying to make a song that feels something to me. And man, the fact that you mentioned that you just totally made my day.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, as far as music goes, like avant-garde isn't the right word there, but it gets into, when I would think about like Coltrane or, Miles' experimental years, like what they could have done with a song like that. And it starts like, that's what I start relating it to,
I'm glad they didn't, because you wouldn't have been talking about my version.
It's some cool stuff. I sort of want to bridge that over to your other life too, because there's a new movie, Fear of Rain, that you're a part of too. Which that gets into the thriller side of things, but that's where I started to see like, I don't think I've ever heard you try any music towards that genre, but this seems like something that could veer off in that way. Is that? Like,
if Steven Spielberg said, "Look, I'm doing a thriller. I want you to score it," I'm sign me up. I mean, the thing is, if you want to do soundtracks or anything like that, that's like a real click that you have to actively seek out, and I just haven't. But I would love to do that. I love the idea of doing soundtracks, because to me that Rugged Cross intro is something that feels cinematic to me. I'm trying to show you what I'm feeling as opposed to just have you hear it.
Right. I should mention that too. Fear of Rain. Is that out already, or is it coming out?
It came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. That looks like a cool little project for you too. I mean,
I play the father of a girl who's suffering with schizophrenia, and it's kind of posed as a thriller, and it is, but it also, I think, really accurately shows the suffering that a lot of folks with auditory and visual hallucinations as a result of schizophrenia go through. And it's heavy stuff. Katherine Heigl plays my wife, and this incredible young actress named Madison Eisman plays my daughter. And it was a terrific experience.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. What else is on the horizon for you this year? I mean, again, Alone with My Faith, it's a very powerful record. You've got the movie. Do you know what's coming up next? Are you able to kind of see that?
There's a lot of stuff that I'm working on that I can't really talk about because it's kind of in the beginning stages, but there's television stuff and film stuff, and there's theater stuff. Hopefully I would love to, get back on the road. I'm in no rush because I realize that, I need to wait my turn to get the vaccine and make sure that everybody, gets back on the right track. But, touring will be part of that. So, I'm looking forward to the light at the end of the tunnel. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're always staying busy, and we're entertained for it, and I appreciate that. Yeah, Harry, this is a really powerful record. Thank you so much for doing Alone with My Faith, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it today too. It's been really nice.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care, man.
Thank you too.